Hey there and welcome to the Guitar Tricks channel. My name is Anders and I'll be your host today. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our lessons in the future. Now that that's done, let me start you off with the tip of the week. My tip this week is that of course you have to know all the chords in any song you're playing, but that doesn't mean you have to play them all. This of course all depends on the song and the context, but just keep in mind that it's okay not to play all the chords in every song. Maybe the bass or the piano player is already hitting them, so you don't need to hit them as well. It can also be cool to play more stripped down parts with just a few notes and actually keep them static through the different chord changes, and that way you'll create different kinds of tensions underneath the moving chords. It sounds obvious, but it's something that a lot of musicians forget. For this week's lesson, we're going to look at an extremely challenging technique that's almost impossible to avoid in your guitar playing. This technique is called inside picking, and 90% of the time, when I personally struggle to play something, I ultimately trace it down to inside picking. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to identify this and how to work on it. Now, one of the trickiest things about guitar playing is the combination of up and down strokes in our right hand. And just to zoom in on that, let's take two random open strings. Let's use the B and the E string for now. Now, alternating between the two, you can play the B string with a downstroke and the E string with an upstroke, and it feels pretty easy. Notice that visually, it looks like we're picking on the outside of the string pair. Now let's flip it around and pick the B string with an upstroke and the E string with a downstroke. Notice how hard that is comparatively? That's because we're now picking on the inside of the string pair. And your pick has to first pick the string and then skip back over the string in order to pick the next one. And then the same thing, skip over it. Much harder. Now, if you ever had the feeling of being able to play certain parts of a scale or a lick really fast and then always stumbling in the same spot, I'll bet you it's because of inside picking. So try and slow it down enough to analyze the picking and see if I'm right. There are of course many other things that can trip you up, but when it has to do with picking, this is the usual suspect. So now let's talk about how to work on this. Now, I'm just going to show you one simple exercise, but there are a million you can come up with on your own as well. First, grab your A minor pentatonic pattern. And then start in the 5th fret of the high E string with your first finger. After that, you play the two notes on the lower adjacent string, and then come back up towards the note where you started. So, and the picking is down, up, and then loop that. See how we get the inside picking on the way down to the B string, and then on the way back up, we go down, up, that's easy, and then we've just picked an upstroke on the B string, and then we have to pick a downstroke on the E string to start it over. Once you've done that, you transition down to do it on the B and G string. So we have and so on. Down a string pair at a time. You can do this exercise with a metronome and gradually speed it up. Just remember to not do it faster than you can execute it cleanly. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time and developing bad habits that you'll then have to unlearn later. Slow and steady wins the race. And this is also a really good exercise to run while you're watching TV, for example. And that's it for this week's channel episode. It'll be extremely helpful for you to be aware of this concept and know how to work on it. And as always, if you haven't done it already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button for more great videos, and also feel free to like or share this lesson with your friends. Have fun with all of it, and I'll see you next time.